Hello, I'm Leah from Leah Talks, and today we are joined by Cathy. So I'll just head straight into it and she can introduce herself and let us know who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. Leah, first of all, thank you so much for having me on today.
You're welcome.
My name is Cathy Weiss. I am a clairvoyant energy healer. I'm known as the Joy Healer, and I support women who aren't where they thought that they would be at this point in their life to really learn how to connect spiritual energy to real world simple action so that they can overcome any obstacle, feel more alive, feel more vibrant, feel more joy, and stand in the power of their own authentic light.
Wow. Okay, that sounds absolutely amazing. And that was a lot in there. So to start with then, I guess my first question would be what brought you into this journey, like what got you into this whole spiritual side? Because I know a lot of people tend to have some big thing in their life that they go through that brings this into their life, I guess. So can you explain a little bit more on your journey?
Absolutely. And I'm always like, how far back do we go to start that, right? Um, but I think the place that I feel most drawn to is in about 2012. I was in the second part of my yoga teacher training program. So I was going from 200 hours to 500 hours.
Mhm.
And my instructor and mentor said something to me that felt like she'd hit me upside the head with a baseball bat. And I called it my spiritual smackdown because I started to realize that there was this disconnect between my actions and my energy and sort of like what my soul was calling me forward to. And it led me to sort of dive deeper on my own into understanding spiritual energy and how to really harness and tap into that in conjunction then with yoga practices and with real world stuff that we can almost like sometimes sway too far into the spiritual woo woo land and forget that we're still human beings that need to take like action in our lives as well. But it was definitely a journey from there to now, but I would say that is the spark that really started it.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. So you did your yoga teacher training. So what got you, I guess let's try and go back a little bit further. What got you into yoga?
This like it feels like 1,000 years ago, but I was an elementary school brand new elementary school teacher. So here in the United States, it was first and second grade. So my students were about 6 years old.
Mhm.
And as a young person who had never had that type of like my big girl job or like a grown-up career, it was very overwhelming and very stressful. And my friend's mom had done some beginning yoga at a community college for managing stress. And so she and I were like, I wonder if this can help us because it was just so stressful and overwhelming and exhausting. And it was like magic for me. It was the first time I felt comfortable in my own skin in a room full of other people. It was the first time I truly ever relaxed in my own physical body. And it was just a little 6 week beginner course. But by the time that 6 weeks was over, I was like, I need more of this in my life. And I just never stopped. That was more than 25 years ago now. And there has not been a point in my life since then that did not have yoga in it.
Yeah. Yeah. You kind of get hooked, don't you? Once you start, that's it.
Yep.
I love hearing that because I feel like most people that I've spoken to actually they haven't started yoga from like I feel like with you and your story that is straight away into the spiritual mindset kind of thing, whereas most people that I've spoken to they've actually started yoga because of the fitness or the stretching and the flexibility. So it's really nice to hear that other side of it, and it's good to hear because you do hear and you do see a lot, like when people are stressed one of the first things that the GP recommends is yoga, which is really, really good. um, but yes, it definitely can affect your mindset. So you did your yoga teacher training and then you went on to your little spiritual journey. Can you explain for people who don't know, I guess kind of energy healing is, if they are completely new to this whole spiritual world. And you could explain a little bit more about, I guess, energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Super, super easy concept to explain when you take sort of some of the mysticism out of it, because it's very science-based.
Mm-hmm.
Each human body has an electromagnetic field. We can measure this with scientific tools, and our electromagnetic field extends. I've heard different information, but at least 5 feet away from your physical body. I've heard as much as 9 meters, depending on what's going on inside. So, things that are happening inside your physical body, inside your mind, with your breath, then directly affect the width of your electromagnetic field and the power and the intensity of it. And I would imagine ideally most of us want a really strong, vibrant electromagnetic field, because that is what other people respond to. So, at a subconscious level, when another person is in the room with you and they are close enough into your energy field, they can feel it, and then they're responding to that. So, yeah, I mean, you've walked into a room and you've been like, something weird is happening here, even though nobody's talking, or you've walked into a room and it feels like a big, giant, warm hug, right? But you don't, nothing else is happening. That's because we're all putting out this electromagnetic field. And the more we can put out a positive vibration, the more we can put out something that feels good to other people, the more those people and the universe respond with the good stuff that we're seeking in our life. And then we call that manifestation.
Yeah, and
So
manifestation is quite popular right now, isn't it?
it really,
Keep
yeah,
hearing that
absolutely,
word.
because we're starting to understand more and more that it's actually real, and that it is based on science, and that it is based so much on our energy. So energy healing is a multi-layered approach to helping a person heal anything within them that is getting in the way of them being able to put out this big, bright, beautiful electromagnetic field, or sometimes we call it an aura. And it's about I have like a treasure chest of what I call my joy tools that I can offer to people, so they're using the right tool at the right time to help that energy be as, like I said, like as vibrant and alive as possible, because then they're going to get the good things that they're seeking.
Yeah. So what would you say for somebody listening now who feels like their aura or magnetic field is a little bit off? Like, what is some advice that you can give to somebody now to start working on that?
I like there's like three different answers. The first one would be, while it sounds a little cliche, is to find and establish some sort of meditation practice,
Mhm.
because meditation helps to quiet the thinking mind, and it helps actually with your breathing too. And your breathing starts to smooth out and settle down. And there's a lot more to it than that. But just starting to smooth out your breathing and quiet your mind is going to change what's happening in your electromagnetic field. The other thing to know is that the field from your heart is 60 times greater than the field from your thinking mind or your brain. So over time, this is not like the beginner step, but like over time, it's more about paying attention to how you feel, and even not so much positive mindset is also like a really popular topic right now. But positive mindset can sort of backfire on us if we're trying really hard to have a positive mindset, but what we still are feeling emotionally is disconnected from that. So that's why I really prefer people to start with meditation, because it's just going to begin to take that mind out of the equation completely. And that can start to create a clearer aura for people.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we have like a few beginners that listen to this podcast, and I know I've mentioned to people before, like meditation doesn't have to be what you see on TV. Like you're not sat there in silence, just focusing just on your breath and just, trying to, I guess, quiet the mind. There's all different kinds of meditation. And I know a lot of the time, actually, I do sleep meditations before bed because they help again quiet the mind to help you to fall asleep faster. So there are different meditations out there for anybody listening who doesn't want to just sit there in silence, is what I'm saying. You can have guided meditations. Um, okay, I love that. And what about, how do you mix the yoga in? So do you teach yoga as well and do the energy healing at the same time?
I have. Like right in this particular moment, I am teaching a tiny little bit of yoga to a private client. The vast majority of my clients right now are on the other side. They're in the energy healing side. But yoga was my doorway in because when I was teaching yoga full time, I would kind of unbeknownst to me, even at that time, I was just kind of sneaking it in. I was like filling the room with like a particular type of energy, or I could feel my students struggling, and I would make this like internal shift, and that would like change their practice because I write what people feel, what's coming off of us. So if my class was kind of falling all apart all over the place, if I would just go like, mm-hmm, and send that out, everything would change. Or during Shavasana, like during final relaxation, I might come over and touch somebody's third eye and send a little bit of something or other, whatever they needed, into their body. And then afterwards, I would always get this like, how did you do that? You're like, what did you do? You read my mind, or things like that. So I was doing it on the sly. And
Mhm.
even to me, I wasn't quite sure yet that that's what I was doing. But now looking back, 100%. Totally was.
So powerful, isn't it? So powerful. So there's a couple people that like sprung to mind when you said that actually. And my last yoga teacher, I worked at her studio and I used to go to some of her classes, and she just had this aura about her that was just so relaxing and friendly, and you just wanted to be around her. So I guess it's kind of, it can pull you in as well, which is great for the right people. So I'm trying to figure out how to relate this into parenting. So I have a lot of people listening to my podcast who are parents. And I know I had somebody the other day saying that it's a very similar thing. Like, your energy you give off, and it basically affects the people around you. So if you're stressed, it's going to end up making your child more stressed. And I know that, like, sometimes I'm just going to give a quick example, trying to put my child to bed just a minute ago. Um, if I am laying next to her and pretending to fall asleep, she is fidgeting and moving around. But as soon as I like relax my body and pretend to fall asleep myself, I guess because I've relaxed, she can feel that, and kind of that helps her to relax as well. So I'm just wondering if you have any tips or advice for parents out there who are trying to, I guess, create a little bit of calm for their child as well. Like you said, you have to feel it in your heart. So it's not something that you can fake.
Mhm.
Do you have any advice on that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Well, you nailed it. Number one, those little tiny humans are feeling absolutely what is coming off of your body. And and so it's almost like more powerful because under the age of 7, they're working from a subconscious emotional place only. They aren't even engaging in trying to analyze what it is that they think you're doing. They are only feeling it. So any practice that helps the parent manage their own energy, whether it is through yoga or breathing or meditation or going for a walk, as counterintuitive as it might feel, prioritizing even a little snippet out of your day to manage yourself has a massive impact on the children. Yeah, and anytime you're starting to feel your blood pressure and your stress and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna lose it right now," is a great time to also just model for them. Like, you know what? I am starting to feel a little upset or a little worried or a little stressed out, and I'm just gonna take some slow, deep breaths. And you just consciously take the time to even a little bit bring it down, have some breathing. They are going to feel it. And then they're also going to learn from you how you're managing your emotions and probably start to do a little bit of a copycat emulate sort of thing. So it's a really powerful tool to use in parenting. Absolutely.
Yes, this is definitely why I'm trying to share a little bit more about yoga and spirituality and trying to reach these mums. So, because yeah, I do say quite a lot, kids mirror what they see. And if they see you managing your emotions and trying to, I guess, better yourself, they will start to do that as well, which is amazing. That's what we need, right? Better mums in the world is going to create better kids, and the whole world will be a much happier place.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely. Um, okay, so is there anything else you would like to add on an energy point of view that we might not have spoke about? I don't know too much about this other than the yoga side, so I'm just wondering if there's anything in particular that you would like to mention.
Mm. It's such a juicy topic.
So many different ways you can go.
Yes. So when people talk about good vibes or positive vibes or high vibrations, it's because that energy travels in a wave, like a light wave or a sound wave. So that's a vibration. So when people talk about positive vibes or high vibes, they're referring to the actual wavelength of your energy or your emotion. And positive emotions like gratitude and happiness and appreciation have a higher, faster frequency than lower or things that we might call more negative emotions like anger or guilt or frustration or shame. Those waves are slower and lower. So the higher positive vibrations, they go out further, they're stronger, they last longer out into the world. So when people are talking about positive vibes, they aren't being like bougie about it. There's
Mhm.
actually like a reason we're trying to move ourselves in the direction of that more positive energy. Again, not just from thinking it, but from your heart. And the highest frequencies that have been measured are gratitude and appreciation. We're starting to think that authenticity is 4,000 times stronger. But if you can be in the energy or the feeling of gratitude and appreciation in an authentic way, that's your magic power right there. So any practice, how no matter how tiny, of finding an ounce of gratitude or appreciation in your day, but like really meaning it, can be a magical alchemical changer in your system. And it could be the silliest thing like, wow, I really am grateful that somebody invented a pen because it means that I can jot down a quick note and not have to, I don't know, go out and get my ink pot and whatever, like however we've like moved forward in the world. And it sounds silly, but it like being able to find those little tiny things help you be able to build into bigger and bigger um experiences of gratitude and appreciation. And it has such an incredible magnetic quality to it that I would add that in as like if you're looking for a different way into shifting your energy, it would be through the gateway of gratitude.
Yeah, and I've heard that one quite a bit as well, gratitude. So I've heard a lot of people mention that they say three things that they're grateful for every single night. And that's meant to, I don't know, I guess higher your vibration.
Yeah,
Would you say
exactly.
that's a good thing?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. As long as you mean it and like so it's an authentic thing that you're grateful for, as opposed to like, I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my house. And you're just kind of like rotely doing a checklist that seems really obvious, but you can actually find like, you know what? I just went to the market and I couldn't find this one thing. And really grateful that one of the employees like stopped what he was doing, walked me all the way over to it, pointed it because down at the bottom shelf. And I was like, I was going to walk out of here without that because I was getting frustrated. I'm so grateful that this guy knew where it was and took the time to take me over there and grab it.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, I'm grateful I have a roof over my head, which I am, right? But finding like the authentic things that you're not just repeating over and over and over, um, is a big shifter for that practice too. So I would almost rather say you find one thing that you really mean as opposed to rotely checking off a certain number.
Yes, yeah, completely agree. And I think it's very easy as well to focus on negative things um, rather than positive. Like, especially with social media and stuff now, a lot of people do tend to, I guess, when you think of something negative, it tends to stick in your mind a little bit more. So it's kind of, I guess it's kind of retraining your brain, especially with the gratitude practice. That's probably going to help with that, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Our brains do have a negativity bias because it's trying to protect us. And
Mm.
it's like, remember this horrible, scary thing. Remember this horrible, and like over and over wants to remind us of this horrible, scary thing so that we don't um, get trapped up in it again in the future. So it is a little bit of a muscle that you need to build and strengthen. But it's absolutely doable. It's just like lifting weights. It takes some practice and some time.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. So I've absolutely loved that. And if anybody listening or watching has any questions about energy healing, please feel free to message Cathy. I'm guessing that's okay. Um,
Absolutely.
so before we finish up, I tend to ask everybody, and it can be anything at all, what three pieces of advice can you give to somebody right now about anything at all?
Have more fun.
Yep.
Nothing is as serious as you think it is. Your soul's purpose is not directly tied or connected to your career.
Yes, they are very, very important ones. I think a lot of people are living to work rather than working. No, hold on. Working. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yes, they're
Get my
working to
words
make a
right.
paycheck as opposed to like thriving in their career. And
Yes.
career can be an expression of your soul's purpose, but it is no one's no one's career is the true expression of their soul's purpose.
Yes, I love that. Absolutely love that. Okay, awesome. So if anybody wanted to get in touch with you or start working with you, I will leave all the links down below in the description, but would you like to share how someone can start working with you?
Yeah, absolutely. The easiest one is to remember thejoyhealer.com. It goes straight to
I
my
love that
website,
name.
which is, yeah, so it links to Cathy-Weiss.com, but it's easy to remember. Thejoyhealer.com is a great place to start. And because we did talk about meditation and energy healing, there is a free app called Insight Timer. And so if you go search for my name or go search for the Joy Healer on Insight Timer, you will find free guided meditations and energy healings. So you can also get a taste of it for free over there. And the link will be in the descriptions.
Amazing. I'm going to go check that out because actually, I said I was listening to I listen to sleep meditations every night. I listen to them on Insight Timer. So
Go,
I'm going to
go,
go and check you out right
go
away.
find me. Yep.
Definitely. But thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, totally my pleasure. So fun. It went like it flew by in a blink.
It did, didn't it? Thank you so much.